Imagine a mysterious, glowing powder that kills anyone who touches it. In 1987, a single bag of scrap turned a bustling Brazilian city into a radioactive nightmare. Families fell ill, a child's life was stolen, and an entire city was sealed off. This is the hardest survival story ever, the Goiânia nuclear disaster. Stay with us to uncover a tragedy that shocked the world. On September 28, 1987, a woman named Maria Ferreira burst into the health department of Goiânia, Brazil, clutching a dusty old bag. Her voice trembled as she slammed it on the desk and said, "This thing is killing my family." Inside were broken metal parts and a strange glowing powder. The doctor dismissed her, thinking it was just junk. But within 24 hours, he felt a chilling truth. Maria was right. That bag wasn't just killing her family, it was poisoning an entire city. What was this deadly substance? How did a piece of scrap spark one of history's worst nuclear disasters? And why did it take so long to stop? Welcome to the haunting story of Goiânia, where curiosity turned into catastrophe. Our story begins in 1985 in Goiânia, a vibrant city of over 1 million people in central Brazil. At the heart of the city stood a private hospital, the Instituto Goiano de Radioterapia, known for its cutting-edge cancer treatments. Its pride was a radiotherapy machine, a multi-million-dollar device that used radioactive materials to target tumors. But legal disputes forced the hospital to shut down abruptly. The building was abandoned, its expensive equipment left to rot. Over time, the hospital became a crumbling ruin. Locals whispered of strange noises, creaks and moans echoing from its empty halls. Some swore it was haunted by the spirits of patients who died there. By 1987, the hospital was a no-go zone, avoided by all but the bravest, or the most desperate. On September 13, 1987, two scavengers, Roberto Elvis and Wagner Pereira, saw opportunity in the hospital's ruins. Convinced valuable equipment still lay inside, they crept into the abandoned building under cover of darkness. For hours, they rummaged through dusty rooms, their flashlights cutting through the eerie silence. In a corner they found it, a massive radiotherapy machine, its stainless steel gleaming despite years of neglect. To them it looked like a gold mine. The machine was too heavy to carry, so they dismantled it piece by piece. At its core was a cylindrical capsule, about the size of a large battery, made of steel and lead. It felt heavy, important, surely the most valuable part. As they pried the capsule free, something felt wrong. Their hands trembled, their stomachs churned. Within hours, both men were vomiting, their skin burning. They blamed the hospital's haunted reputation and fled with their loot. Back home, Roberto ignored his worsening symptoms and worked to crack open the capsule. It took 3 days of effort with a screwdriver and hammer. When it finally split, he found an aluminum cylinder inside. Warm to the touch, a tiny glass window revealed a glowing rice-like substance inside. Curious, he smashed the glass and the particles turned to powder, sticking to his hands. It shimmered with a faint blue glow, like something magical. Unaware of the danger, Roberto sold the broken parts to a nearby scrapyard owned by Ferreira. Ferreira was fascinated by the glowing powder. At night, the scrap in his yard emitted an ethereal blue light. Thinking it might be a precious gem or even something supernatural, he invited friends, neighbors, and family to see it. For 3 days, his home became a spectacle. People marveled at the powder's glow, some taking small amounts home as souvenirs. Dever's brother, Ivo, gave a pinch to his 6-year-old daughter, Lida, who was enchanted by its sparkle. She rubbed it on her face and sprinkled some on her sandwich, eating it like fairy dust. No one knew that this powder was cesium-137, a highly radioactive isotope used in radiotherapy. Even a speck could burn through skin, damage organs, and cause catastrophic illness. Soon, Dever's family fell ill. His wife, Maria, suffered fever, vomiting, and strange rashes. Lida's condition was worst. Her small body was racked by burns and relentless sickness. Across the city, others who touched the powder reported similar symptoms: dizziness, hair loss, and red burning skin. Maria noticed a pattern. The illnesses began when the glowing scrap arrived. Convinced it was the source, she gathered the remaining cesium-laced parts into a bag and headed to the health department. Enlisting a worker, Geraldo de Silva, to help carry it. They boarded a crowded bus, unknowingly exposing dozens of passengers to radiation. At the health department, Maria pleaded with the doctor, "This is killing us." He placed the bag on a chair outside his office, skeptical, until he too felt weak and uneasy. By late September, Goiânia was in chaos. Hospitals overflowed with patients showing bizarre symptoms: burns, hair loss, organ failure. Doctors were baffled. It looked like an epidemic, but no virus or bacteria fit the pattern. The doctor who met Maria noticed the bag's proximity made him ill. Suspecting something extraordinary, he called Dr. Alonso Montoya, a local physicist. Montoya was stunned by the description of a glowing powder. Another call came from a hospital doctor reporting thousands of sick patients with identical symptoms: vomiting, diarrhea, and radiation-like burns. Montoya connected the dots. The bag was the key. He alerted Goiânia's environmental department, which dispatched Dr. Walter Ferreira, a radiation expert on vacation. Walter arrived in the city on September 29, 1987, armed with a scintillation counter, a device used to detect radiation near nuclear plants. As he drove through Goiânia, his device screamed, its needle pinned at maximum danger. The air itself was radioactive. At the health department, Walter tested the bag on the chair. The radiation levels were off the charts, higher than his device could measure. Inspecting the contents, he recognized the truth. This was the core of a radiotherapy machine, containing cesium-137 chloride, a water-soluble, highly radioactive salt. It was as deadly as a nuclear reactor's fallout, capable of contaminating air, water, and human bodies for centuries. Walter acted fast. He stopped firefighters from dumping the bag in a river, which would have poisoned Brazil's water supply. Using a crane, he sealed the cesium-laced scrap in a concrete-filled sewage pipe to contain the radiation, but the damage was done. Goiânia was a radioactive hotspot. Walter alerted the government, and on September 29, 1987, a nuclear emergency was declared. The Brazilian army and police sealed the city, isolating it from the country. Over 100,000 residents were screened for radiation at a stadium-turned-testing site. Of them, 249 were heavily contaminated, their bodies emitting dangerous levels of radiation. 20 were so irradiated that their urine and sweat were radioactive. The cleanup was monumental. Authorities identified 85 homes and 14 sites as highly radioactive, demolishing them to eliminate the threat. In total, 3,500 cubic meters of nuclear waste were collected, including the cesium-137 powder. It was buried in deep boreholes 24 kilometers from the city, where it remains today, still emitting radiation. Tragically, 4 people died. The most heartbreaking was Lida Ferreira, the 6-year-old who ate the glowing powder. Her organs and bones were so radioactive that her burial required a special lead-lined coffin. When her family tried to bury her, 2,000 locals protested, fearing contamination. Her death became a symbol of the disaster's toll. The Goiânia disaster wasn't caused by a nuclear bomb or a power plant meltdown. It began with 2 scavengers, an abandoned hospital, and human curiosity. It exposed the dangers of radioactive materials and the consequences of neglect. Who was to blame? The scavengers who stole the machine, the hospital owners who left it behind, or the authorities who failed to secure it? The question lingers, unanswered. Goiânia rebuilt, but the scars remain. This tragedy reminds us that even the smallest mistake can unleash unimaginable horror. What's the hardest survival story you've heard? Share it in the comments, and let's honor those who face the impossible. If this story gripped you, hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of survival and mystery. Ring the bell to never miss an upload. Share this with your friends and stay curious. Until next time, keep exploring the unknown.